This video is a follow-up on troubleshooting for a previous video that I did, 1997 Cherokee front turn signals not working, Joe555s. And someone I assume is Joe, posting on there. He says the lights on the dash do light up and they flash rapidly. And he's wanting to replace the switch. I told him not to do that because if you've got a fast flash, then that's your switch is supposed to do that. If you don't have, if all your lamps aren't lit up. So if you have like a single lamp that's not closing on that circuit, then you're supposed to get a fast flash. It tells you that you got a lighting problem. I told him to go ahead and do wire traces and check for voltage on the front lighting turn signal circuits. Specifically, we need to work on the tan wire coming out of the hazard and turn signal switch and the green with a white tracer. He says, I have a voltmeter, how do I test that? Check the reading on the bulbs with the flasher on. Well, that probably won't do any good because the bulbs aren't lighting up, so I don't think we're gonna get anything there unless all of your front turn signal bulbs are dead. I'm talking about 6 bulbs, all bad. I don't think so. What I've just now done is go out and do Pierce probe tests in the wires underneath the dash for the front lighting circuits, testing for voltage. Just in case you're a beginner with a multimeter, you need to find a really good ground point. I've got mine grounded on a bolt right there. Wherever you ground it, maybe in the door frame or wherever, something that's metal that's attached to the frame of the chassis of the car. Whatever you ground it to, when you hook up your ground, you want to do a ground test and make sure that it's got good contact. So we'll switch to audible alert ohms, and then I'll just touch on some ground points or some parts of the chassis. You hear it, it's going off. So that's just to make sure that I have good ground so that I'm not wasting my time doing these checks. Now there's one wire in particular you want to watch out for if you're doing pierce probing in these wires, and that is the yellow. I accidentally punched too far through the green with the white stripe, and I punched into the yellow and it activated my starter. So that would be bad if you did that. Okay, this is turn signal troubleshooting, day 2. What I've got is wire testing on the front lighting circuit. We're looking for the tan wire that comes off of the multifunction switch, and it comes from this harness. There's a tan wire going down here, and there's an opening right there. What we want to do is, in this opening, find the tan wires. There's 2 of them, and I just stuck a sewing needle. I just pierced one of the tan wires with a sewing needle. I turn on the right flasher, and then I get flash readings on my multimeter. That is the tan wire on the right flasher, and it is receiving that flashing signal from the multifunction control switch, the turn signal and hazard switch. So now if I go to the second tan wire, we'll see what we get there. Alright, I have found my left turn signal wire for the front lighting circuit. That is white with green with a white stripe, white tracer. And there's actually 2 green with white tracers in here. One of them is a larger, like I don't know, like a 14 gauge or a 12 gauge wire, and this one for the turn signal lighting is like a 18 gauge wire, so it's a little bit smaller. I've got both green with white tracers out, and I don't know if you can see very well on this camera, but there's the small one, and that's for the turn signals, and then there's the big boy right here that is not. So just make sure you find both wires when you're doing this probe test for the front left, so that way you don't try to do a voltage test and think that you have a bad front left lighting circuit when you really don't. So I've got this wire probed, and if I turn on the left turn signal, what I'm going to get is intermittent voltage. Okay, I don't have a good connection. Now that I've got a good connection, I'm going to intermittently show, 10, 10.3. Sometimes I was getting 9, but 8, there you go. But I'll get that voltage showing connection to the battery, and that is on the green with the white tracer. Now if I turn that off, I go back to 0, and if I turn on my hazard control switch, I should get the same thing. Yep, there it is. The hazard voltage, when you do a hazard switch, the voltage is going to show a little bit lower because it's powering more lights. This was a lot easier to do once I just cut and unrolled this tape off of this bundle here. Makes the wires a lot more accessible, so that would probably be a good idea to start with. And it also will allow you to pull the wires away from the bundle and isolate them when you pierce probe them, which would be a really good idea so you don't close your starter circuit or something like that. So this is basically what you need to do in order to probe test your front lighting turn signal wires at this point. Now there's multiple points where you can test, and you will need to test out from here if you're not getting voltage on these wires with your turn signals on. But let's not worry about any of that now. Just do this test, see if you have voltage on these wires, and then post your findings in the forum thread on Jeep Forum, and let's keep the conversation there so that we can get help from all the guys there.